Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to His Blossoming Daughters Ministries. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for your support. And today I'm just giving a bit of encouragement to the daughters of God. Today I want to encourage you to step out and do the thing God has been asking you to do. Today I want to encourage you to become the woman that God has called you to become. And in order to become that woman, there are changes and habits and steps that we have to take in order to become her. To get to that woman, to achieve the goals, to make changes in our life, to live the best life, the life of abundance that God has for you, for us. And so I really want to motivate daughters of God to step out in faith. Step out in faith and do the thing that God has called you to do and be obedient. Now, we are all human, okay? Nobody is perfect. The only man that walked this earth that was perfect was Jesus Christ, okay? So I'm saying that to say, I remember 3 years ago, that was, I believe 2023. Yeah, 2023. I had just turned 30. I knew that God wanted me at 29, the age 29, I knew God wanted me to start ministry at the age 30. And I was full of fear, doubting that God will use me, or that I'm capable to do it, or that I'm able to do it. But what happened was, even though I didn't start ministry online that year, I started to share my testimony. And so essentially, I did start my ministry that at the age of 30. Now, the next year, God told me to start. This was 2024. The beginning of the year was around March, and God told me to start His Blossoming Daughters. But at the time, I thought it would be a podcast. I knew I did a fasting, and I knew God wanted me to start a ministry. And I would ask God, okay, what about the name? And then I was brainstorming, and then I had an experience at church that gave me this name, His Blossoming Daughters. I've shared that experience maybe another day, of how I got the name His Blossoming Daughters. And so then I started, but then I allowed the opinions of others I shared my first episode of His Blossoming Daughters podcast that year. But after I shared my first episode, I allowed the opinions of others, and just my own personal fears and doubts stopped me. And then 2025 came, December 2024 came, and 1 week before the new year, God showed me He showed me a revelation about ministry. And then I prayed and I asked for confirmation, and He showed me another dream about the ministry. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do His Blossoming Daughters podcast. And as I was doing His Blossoming Daughters podcast, I was starting to do some ministry like devotionals on TikTok. And so for me, that was like, okay, I was thinking I'll start my ministry. I'll start the ministry on TikTok. That was my way of starting ministry, right? Because I had this fear, but I also at the time had just had a baby, and I just couldn't spend the time to create YouTube videos and to be editing and all that stuff. I just didn't have the time for it. So the easiest thing for me to do was TikTok. And I would share my testimony on TikTok. Got a lot of feedback from that. I deleted my testimony off TikTok. Or I think I archived it. I don't know if I deleted it or archived it. But I shared my testimony on there. Got a lot of feedback. A lot of women who said that helped them and all of the things. And that reassured me that that's what God really wanted me to do. So then revelation came through other people as well, through a leader, telling me that, God is going to use me in the ministry for women and all of these things. So I knew for sure what I was called to do. But I was just allowing fear to hold me back and to not step fully into what it was that God called me to do. So this year I made, other revelations came as well, but this year I made that goal. I made the goal for this year that I would do it, that I would not allow fear and all of those things to come in the way. And so I prayed about it, fasted about it. One of the things that I needed to change was that my ministry was not a podcast. My ministry should and would and should have been started on YouTube, right? So YouTube is where God wanted to use the ministry, or where the ministry should be planted. And then I would have TikTok for like daily messages as part of the ministry. But then this year came and I had some health challenges that hindered me for a few months, hindered me from moving forward for a few months. And then finally I got to a place where I was healthy enough to do it, and here I am. So this is a season where I just want to be obedient to God, and I want to obey His every command. And I remember I was recently doing a fast. It was just a one-day fast, and I was asking God, I don't really know what to fast for. This season, I can't really abstain from food because of my health challenges. So I really don't know what to fast for or how to fast. And He sent me to Joshua, I think Joshua chapter 1. And I got to, I think it's verse 9, where God was telling Joshua to eat this word day and night. And that the word of God should never depart from me. I should not look, that you shouldn't look left or do not look to the right. Focus on the word, get into the word, eat the word, meditate on the word. And I knew God was telling me, do not live outside of this Bible. Be obedient to the Bible. And I remember back in, I think it was May. Yeah, God had me and my husband read Deuteronomy 23. And when I read it, I could see like my health challenges within the curse side of Deuteronomy. And that scared me so much because I don't want to live a life of sickness, a life of infirmity. I saw that in my grandmother, and she passed with a lot of ailments, and she did not live a peaceful life because she was always in the hospital, always dealing with a health issue. It was just a lot. And I don't want to be that for my children. I don't want to be a burden to my children. I want to be healthy, not only for myself, not only for the Lord, number one, for the Lord, so that He can use me, but also for myself, for my children, and my future grandchildren. Like, I want to be able to move around at 60 and 70. You know, I want to be able to help my children with their children, my grandchildren. I want to be alive to see those beautiful babies being born. So it's all about obedience. And I'm not here to say like, oh, stepping into faith with God or stepping into alignment with God is not fearful. Even recording my first video, I haven't recorded that many videos, but even the first video, you know, I prayed, like, because it's been a while. I've been on YouTube and just having people and their opinions and all of the things. But God also worked on me about people pleasing. Like, no, you can't be doing the thing that I asked you to do and be in the calling that I have. I cannot be people pleasing. So these are things that God had to work on me before I fully stepped out. And now I stepped out, and I'm not saying I'm at the highest point of my calling. No, I'm not completely there wherever God is taking me. I don't think I'll ever be there. I don't think we will ever be there until we meet Jesus in heaven. But I do think that when you make those steps, you are closer. You are closer to doing the thing that God called you to do, or the person He called you to be. And the closer you are, the more peace you will have. So when I stepped out in faith, I started to feel so aligned with God, and I have never been so much more fulfilled, so much more happier, so much more at peace, knowing that this is what God called me to do. I'm using my gifts, I'm using my skills, and I'm building a ministry, not for myself, but for God and for the women He has called me to. So I'm encouraging you, whatever that thing is. For some of you, He may say go back to school. See, I wanted to go back to school, but God told me, no, this is not the time or the season. And I don't know about if God will ever really allow me to go back to school because of just where we are in the world. I don't think it's needed with the calling that I have. But if He ever opens that door of grace, that would depend on Him. Because I'm at the point where I only want to do what God tells me to do. And I only want to be obedient to His word. I don't want to look to the left of His word. I don't want to look to the right of His word. I want to do what God tells me to do. So if He tell me never to go back to school, then that's okay. I'm okay with that. If He tell me to go back to school, I'm okay with that. So some of you, this may be a season where you have to go back to school. Or this may be a season where God is calling you to do that, to step out in faith. Maybe you need to go back to school to take care of your kids. Maybe you need to learn a new skill in order to, have stability for your family. For some of you, it may be maybe God is calling you into transition into a different career. I was watching a video with Stephanie Ike, and she was sharing, I can't remember the name of the video, but she was sharing a testimony about a woman who was in like corporate, and she was making like really good money, 6 figures, but then God called her out of corporate to become a nanny. And God, basically her calling was to help this family so that they can have more time and freedom to be able to do the things that God has called them to do. And so she did that. She became a nanny, and she just did it with the fullness of the Lord. And those people loved her. They trusted her. And that was her calling. That was her transition. She was in corporate for many years, and God called her to be a nanny. But unfortunately, she passed away as well. But she passed away within her calling. She passed away fulfilling her purpose. She didn't just pass away not fulfilling her purpose, but she passed away fulfilling her purpose. And the moral of that testimony is, would you rather leave this earth knowing that you have done all the things that God has called you to do? Or would you rather be here not doing the thing God called you to do, and when the time has come, regretting, allowing fear, allowing doubt, allowing the opinions of others to keep you from fulfilling your purpose? Some of you, God may call you to write a book. He may be calling you to become an author. Write books, write stories, Christian stories. Some of you, God may be calling you into childcare. You see? So whatever that thing is, this ministry is here to help you to become that, to be that, to become who God called you to be, to step out in faith, to also be able to chip away of the old you and step into a new you. Now for me, in order for me to fully become who God called me to be, I have to conquer these health issues. I have to conquer this, because whatever is happening in my body that the doctors cannot figure out, because if the doctor can't figure it out, that means it's spiritual. So God told me to do something. He told me to eat a certain way. I didn't listen to him, and this is what happened to me. This is the consequence of being disobedient. So there are consequences for our disobedience. So I encourage you, daughters, please step out in faith. Do the thing that God has called you to do. Follow his command. Follow his instructions. Some of you are experiencing hardship and financial difficulty because God has told you to start a business, and because of fear, because of opinions, and because of doubt, you have not started. When God said he's gonna bless you through that, so why wouldn't you want that blessing from God? Doing the thing that you're going to feel fulfilled, you're going to be fulfilled. And it's no wonder you can't find a job. You've been searching for a job, putting in applications, going to interviews, and the doors keep being closed. Why? Because God is saying, I want you to start this business, and I'm going to make it difficult for you until you listen, until you obey, until you step in alignment with him and start that business. See, I am relaunching my podcast because I realized that my podcast was not for ministry. My podcast is to help women find purpose in entrepreneurship. And if God is calling you into entrepreneurship, and if God is calling you to start a kingdom business, then my podcast. Hello, ladies. So I am back home now. I realized that my camera cut off. I mean, it was really hot. My phone was getting really hot. It was probably overheating. It's 96 degrees where I am right now, and this summer has been one of the hottest summers in my area in a very long time. I live in the DMV, and this summer, I mean, the heat is. There were a few days where the heat was getting up to like 110 degrees in this area. So yeah, I'm back home. So I just want to end this video again by just encouraging you, daughters of God, to step out in your faith, step out in faith in God, become the woman that He has called you to be. Go back to school, start that business, change your career, whatever it is that you know that you have prayed about, you fasted about. God continually speaks to you about it. Maybe even there were people who prophesied that to you. Whatever it is, do it so that we all as daughters can step into the fullness of what God has for us. There's a promised land, a land of milk and honey, right on the opposite side of your obedience. Okay, look, sometimes I don't want to get on camera with my face just my hair is not done, my face is, but I do it out of obedience, because I'm never going to let makeup and my hair prevent me from doing the work of God. I'm just not. I mean, I don't want to show up this way every day, but it's impossible for me as a mom of 4 little children under 7, and a wife, managing all of my home and all of the things, to be able to put on makeup every day, make sure my hair is slick and laid every day. I mean, maybe one day I'll get there when my kids get just a tad bit older and they're a bit more independent, and I'll have more time for myself. But right now, it's what it is. Just do it. Just take a step. Be that woman. Start walking as if you are already her, and take a step out of faith. Let go of the fear. Let go of the doubt. Pray. And do the thing that God has asked you to do. Okay? All right. I love you. Bye. Oh, don't forget, we are the salt and the light of this earth. I love you, but Jesus loves you more.